Man City 2, Newcastle 1, and the brilliant, the majestic, the fantastic starlet in Nico O'Reilly with a fantastic brace, a massive win. The points gap closed on Arsenal to 2 points. Massive pressure on the North London derby now for Arsenal. I think Gooners were expecting it, but City delivered that pressure today. It was a nervy second half for the citizens. There's no doubt about that, but they got the job done. 3 wins in a row for them as well. And look, I've told you all season, my prediction is coming true. This title race is going down to the wire. City are not going away. Let's see how Arsenal respond tomorrow. But away from Arsenal, listen, you guys can say what you want in the chat. I want to actually focus on City for a moment and the game in itself today, because I think City deserve a lot of credit. Because, look, I don't know what is their best streak of winning games this year? Is it 4? They're 3. They've had a lot of issues when it comes to dropping points in the second half of games. You could feel that tension in the air in the second half. As experienced as the players are, as great as the manager is, the fans know exactly what a title race is all about. You could still sense that nervousness, and they had opportunities to kill the game off 3, 4, 5 times. I think Nuri was the biggest one to me. Haaland late in the game as well, and it wasn't quite happening. And you have to keep your nerve. And then right at the end, Harvey Barnes with a shot. Was it going in? I'm not sure. But Donnarumma there, said all season, one of the signings of the campaign in the Premier League, let alone for Manchester City, puts it round the corner and keeping their nerve right at the end with Nick Pope coming up. This is how you win Premier League titles. It's a Champions win in every sense of the word, because it was a good first half. I thought an average second half by Manchester City standards, but they won't care today. They got the job done. The ball's now in Arsenal's court. Can they bounce back after 2 draws? It's going to be a right interesting one. As ever, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Get that bell notification button turned on as well. Let's jump into some of your comments. Are City still Dolphins? Hussam said that, not me. Go and speak to Hussam. I'll laugh at the joke, but that's not my claim. I said City would be in this race until very late in the season. So, yes, nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me, barring laughing at the joke. Respect Terry for the balance. Of course, listen, everyone knows that I want City winning the league. I don't think many Man United fans want them to win the league. Some do. I don't. But credit where credit's due. And look, I want to talk about the beginning of the game. The beginning of the game, I was very, very impressed with. The beginning of the game, City started like a freight train. My only question, this is where people think I'm hating, I'm not. It's not an agenda. Is second half, City do seem to have a bit of a drop-off. But the first half today, they pressed. I'm looking at my notes here. I wrote here, very intense press, great start. And they were forcing Newcastle into giving the ball away quite cheaply. Now, Newcastle fans may look at that and go, we gave the ball away easily. I viewed that as a forced error. It's not an unforced error. It was a forced error by Manchester City. There's no doubt about that in my mind. It was. And the pressure was relentless and it was brilliant. Now, in terms of the goals, the first goal comes from, I would consider it pressing. The ball got kicked clear by Nick Pope. A couple of opportunities in the middle for Newcastle to win it. And they were just second best in those battles. The ball falls to Omar Mamouche. Now, both fullbacks, when it comes to City's goals, from a Newcastle perspective, made mistakes. Trippier rushes in to try and win the ball off Mamouche. If he wins it, there'll be a big cheer from the Geordies. There'll be a big cheer from Arsenal fans, a big cheer from Man United fans. Oh, what a tackle, great. The problem is he rushes in and Mamouche, he just feints him and gets on the outside of the player and then just puts that ball beautifully into Nico O'Reilly, who finishes it like a seasoned striker. Then they go and equalize Newcastle. And look, I saw the commentators kind of say with bad clearance from City. Sometimes you get scrappy clearances because you're just trying to get a foot on the ball. But it was a good shot from Hall. The only element really that I would criticize from a City perspective is Nuri turns his back. And someone who played, football over Hackney Marshes growing up, Sunday League footballers have grown up. You turn your back, someone on your own team is going to clatter you. You don't do it. You don't turn your back. It's a wimpy thing to do. Deflects and goes in. But the response from Man City, again, is what champions do. 5 minutes to go up the other end and score. Now, O'Reilly takes a lot of credit, a brilliant header, the ball to the back post, the way Erling Haaland puts that up. And I don't know how many years ago this was now that Roy Keane said it, but I called him out at the time. I've always defended Erling Haaland. I'll always defend Erling Haaland on this accusation. He's a League One player. He's a League Two player. He ain't good on the ball. Okay, he's not Wayne Rooney. He ain't Henry on the ball. But the idea that he's not Premier League, not Champions League level technically, I just find it to be an embarrassing... You might as well be Len Goodman on Dancing on Ice, all right? Just because he doesn't pass your eye test, get out of here. The cross from him, pinpoint, holds the ball up perfectly, and O'Reilly clears it. But Semenyo needs a big shout out in that goal. I thought he faded in the second half, but in the first half, he was so dangerous. He was here, there, and everywhere. He drops the shoulder, goes on the inside. And I like Hall. I think Lewis Hall is a very good left back. I don't know if I agree with my Newcastle friends who say he's the best left back in the league. I think he's good, but he got sucked into Haaland because he thinks the ball's going to go into Haaland to swivel and turn and try and score. But the ball by Semenyo is clever because he sees that Hall's committed to stopping Haaland essentially from scoring, plays it on the outside. Haaland goes out and crosses the ball, and the left back was nowhere. But that was intelligent from Semenyo, a brilliant cross from Haaland, and O'Reilly buries it. And I really rate O'Reilly. Now, like most of us, we don't know much about each other's academy players, but I really rate O'Reilly. I've watched him play at left back and be flawless. I've seen him go into midfield, and I did read somewhere, and if I've got this wrong, City fans, correct me, please, that he is a midfielder by trade. But watching him in the midfield areas, it just gives Man City a new dimension. And I don't know exactly when he started playing in your midfield. But since he's moved in there, I feel City look a stronger team. I do think overall City looks stronger with him. He's got a great touch. He's tall, he's strong, he's quick, he can score, he can defend. He's the real deal, and a shoo-in for Thomas Tuchel's England squad this summer. He deserves it. He may even be a champion of England and have even more trophies by that time. But yeah, look, as I say, brilliant from him. Great response after conceding. And in the second half, look, one of the reasons, look, I remember sitting here about 5 weeks ago when City were about to land Mark Gahey. And or it was rumored they were going to land Gahey, maybe less than 5 weeks, maybe 4. And I said, well, look, there has to be a lot of pressure now on City to go and win the league. And for some weird reason, that was kind of scoffed at. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to scoff at it. I don't know why anybody would scoff at it. It's a team full of winners with one of the greatest managers in the history of the game who have spent £600 million and invested it into some really good players. Omar Mamouche, Semenyo, Gahey, to name just a few, into the squad. There has to be a big pressure on them to win. And they dropped some points in that time. The Spurs game was only 4 games ago now. But they're starting to deliver. They're starting to purr. They're starting to look a little bit more comfortable. Are City perfect? No. There was still maybe 7 or 8 times today where 1 or 2 passes put the Newcastle players into dangerous positions. But what has improved is City are getting players back, and they bought Mark Gahey. So when it came to the one-on-one defending, again, if you take Gahey out today and Diaz out today, like a few weeks ago, and you play is it Aileen or Eileen? Elaine. Play Elaine, game might have gone differently. The individual defensive battles were brilliant. And this is why clubs, and you know me, I don't do the checkbook manager nonsense. Spend your money. Spend it wisely. I'm actually more offended at big clubs that spend badly than spend loads of money. A lot of people try and do the whole, yeah, but you spend money. That's the whole point. That's why you want your club earning big revenues. I care about the money because I want it spent on good players, because no one wins any. No one's been winning in football for about 50, 60 years without spending. I think it's something we all have to get over. Does that make sense? Now, if we'll put aside how you're making money, that's another conversation. But if you've got money, you spend it on good players. And that's what City have done. And you see the marginal gains in the last 3 to 4 matches. Semenyo's performances, Semenyo's goals. Gahey has risen them up a level. And someone said this in one of my group chats. I think it was Neek said it to Kesh. Said maybe not. Oh no, it might have been Canadian Cam. Said maybe Arsenal not buying Semenyo could be the difference in this title race. And we spoke about that back in January. And he's been an excellent signing. So yeah, look, City looking very, very good today. I thought Newcastle gave a good account of themselves. And that isn't a backhanded compliment. They've got a lot of injuries. They have a much thinner squad in terms of quality compared to a Man City. They traveled 500,000, that's a lie. 5,000 miles, 500,000 miles. What even is the circumference of the earth? Is it even 500,000 miles? I doubt it. What is the circumference of the earth? I ain't spelled circumference right, but there we go. 29,000 miles. Yeah, I don't know where I got 500,000 miles. You'd be on the moon, if not further. But there we go. 5,000 miles they traveled. I mean, that's actually quite a lot when you think the circumference of the earth is 20. Did I say 29? 24,000 miles. So that's mad. They traveled more than 20% of the sort of the biggest distance of the earth this week. That's crazy. But they did very, very well. Anyway, I'm getting stuck on maths and science. Is it maths or is it science? Bit of both, isn't it, I suppose? I don't know, geography. But I thought Newcastle did well. I really thought Nick Pope was going to nick it right at the end there. I thought he was going to hit his head and go in. I'm looking at Kane backstage, and it looked smart. I thought Nicky Pope was going to get head on the ball. I was ready to go mad. I was ready to cheer. Instead, I feel gutted. But as gutted as I am, still got to congratulate Man City for what they did. Kusanov, Terry, what a player. Yeah, again, but these are the points I'm making. Kusanov, City fans love him. They think he's great. And this is why I thought it was weird when I said there should be an expectation on City to win the league back in January. Well, why should there be? Why? Firstly, calm down, dear. I'm not saying there shouldn't be an expectation upon Arsenal. I think that's the thing that triggered people. You got to expect. I do expect them to. 100%. They don't win it, they'll be ridiculed, criticized. Absolutely. But City can't be spending that amount of money and have their fans go, love Nico, love Kusanov, I love Semenyo, Gahey, what a baller. Got the greatest manager ever. Got Haaland, Foden. They can't keep... Rodri's getting back to his best. You can't say this and go, should win the league really then, right? No, why should we? That's weird. That doesn't make any sense to anybody on any level. My favorite boxer, yeah. Hardest puncher, best defense, best jab, best footwork. He's got one of the greatest coaches of all time, prime of his life. Should win the world title then. Why should he win the world title? Why put that pressure on him? Weird. Nobody would ever do it. Excellent player. Terry is panicking because he didn't have a chance to make an Arsenal scary video this week. Yeah, I'll put my house up for sale. I'm actually thinking of selling one of my kids to Madonna. I need to raise some money, innit? So, yeah, you're right. Absolutely crazy. I put the estate agency business up for sale, the dog walking company up for sale. It's all gone. The consultancy business up for sale. Half the fleet's got to be sold. The gardener's gone. It's over for me, man. It's over for me. You're right. Absolute. See, anyone, deflection. That's not a deflection. That's a sarky response to a stupid comment. It's not a deflection. Am I panicking on a real level? Of course I don't want City winning the league. Of course. It's very normal. Newcastle fans don't want Sunderland winning the league. Everton and Liverpool fans don't want each other winning the league. Arsenal and Spurs fans don't want each other winning the league. This one's a bit funny to say, but Millwall and West Ham fans don't want each other winning the league. So yes, Man United fan not wanting City to win the league. Shock horror. Do you want to know another interesting fact? None of you, Phil, look, you're backstage. I want another interesting fact for you. If you don't breathe for about 10 minutes, you die. I mean, we're doing interesting facts tonight that nobody knows. That's a big one. That's a big one. That is a big one. But look, City deserve massive credit tonight. In terms of the pressure now that goes on to Arsenal, before I start bringing the callers out on the show, there is a pressure that goes on to Arsenal. There is no doubt about it. And I think it's important to talk about the title race because it's over to Arsenal now. That's it. Point blank. No messing around. No funny business. It's over to Arsenal. Their job is to now respond and reapply the pressure to Manchester City. Because we find ourselves in, and by the way, like, share, subscribe, get that done. We find ourselves in a really unique position. Now, I don't know the answer to what I'm about to state because I cannot be bothered to do the research. Somebody can use, is there like a deeper research thing you can do on the AI tool? Somebody can do this. I wouldn't do it manually. I'd let AI do it. But I don't remember the last time we were in a situation like this where both teams in the title race have it in their hands. And I've seen City fans go, it's in our hands. If we win all our games, we win the league. That's a fact. If Arsenal win all of their games, they win the league. It's a fact. It feels a really unique proposition. And maybe it feels a little more unique because we're talking about it. But I don't remember the last time a title race was in this situation. Probably the Liverpool City clash where it was like 98 and 97 points respectively. Maybe that one. But you have to go back and look at the maths in it. It's in a really, really beautiful poised position. It really is. And as much as I don't want City winning it, I've never written them off fully this season. I've always said it would go down to the wire. And I was a little bit miffed that anybody thought it was going to be easy. And one of the biggest reasons it isn't going to be easy is because of nights like tonight. Newcastle don't have a great away record, but let's not pretend that was an easy game for City. Of course it wasn't, because there's lots of very hard teams in the Premier League. The Premier League is currently, I thought the last 2 to 3 seasons, we're really starting to see the Premier League get back to its peak levels that we witnessed in the 2000s. The 2000s were the ultimate level of the Premier League. And the barometer I use is actually outside of the Premier League. It's European football. Back then, we know how strong the Italians were. The Spanish are always strong. The German teams are strong. But England in that period had such a great record in Europe. Such a great record. Even including the likes of Fulham getting to finals. Middlesbrough getting to finals. But you saw in the Champions League, and this is always an important point to remember. From about 04, 05 until around 2010, if you predicted any one of Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, or Liverpool to win the league, nobody went, you're weird. No way. That's stupid. And we're starting to get that way with the Premier League again. You look at it this year, maybe if you predict Newcastle or Spurs to win the Champions League, people will go, don't think so. But it is not beyond the realms of possibility that City, Arsenal, Liverpool, or Chelsea win it this year. Of course, there's some very good European teams as well that are in that mix. But it's hard to win Premier League games as it was in the 2000s. We're very strong, very well represented on the European level. And that is why I felt it was very disrespectful from some Arsenal fans to suggest that it's going to be a cakewalk, it's going to be easy, even with City struggling at the time, because it's such a hard league to win in. Such a hard league to win in. And that's why City's victory tonight is huge, but it's now about Arsenal. What can they do? How do they respond? Because there was a meltdown this week, which I was having a conversation with some Arsenal fans about this today in one of my group chats and saying, look, I don't think this is aimed at all Arsenal fans, but I think that the level of negativity coming from some supporters, and I don't mean the usual suspects, the guys that are negative every day, I don't think that actually would impact a dressing room anymore. Because it's just like, oh, I'll give you an example on this. I had a boss once and he was great. His name was Tony. I'm not going to tell you his surname. Just not going to. West Ham fan, great guy. But he rarely got angry. He rarely got angry at anyone. And then one day he pulled me and another guy aside. And he said, all right, I'll ice my mouth. And he said that I'm going to bollock the team this morning. But just to know, it isn't really aimed at you two because you two have done a good job, but you've got to be there. So he kind of gave us a heads up. And he went in. I quite enjoyed it because I knew it weren't about me. I was watching everyone's faces, get a bit worried, a bit nervous. And it was great. And the whole room went silent. Everyone listened. It had a great reaction. And it wasn't until I got a little bit older and a little bit more experienced, I realized why him raising his voice and sort of being angry in that moment worked so well is because he rarely did it. He was a very happy-go-lucky, very laid-back person, very respectful person, very fair, kind, and considerate. So everyone knew, wow, wow, we must really have messed up for Tony to be like that. And I do believe we as fans impact how our clubs behave and perform. I think we can be overconfident. I think we can be too negative. I think we can be too nervous. I think we could also support brilliantly and do what our job title is, support our team. There's a reason that teams win more of their home games typically than away games, because it isn't because you know the pitch better. I always find that a weird thing, because most pitches are pretty much the same size. It's because of the support you have and the boost that gives the home team and the pressure that puts on the away team. It's as simple as that. It's just obvious. And I've always believed this, and social media has just meant a larger group of fans can impact their team. So I don't think the guys that are negative every day impact Arsenal in any way anymore. Why? Because that negativity is always there. It's become the norm. I think what can impact them is when they suddenly see people that have been quite supportive, suddenly, oh, it's done. It's over. It's finished. Oh, no, I'm panicking. I think that can hurt you. But what I found very intriguing in the last... Thank you for suggesting. I was reading the comment there, so I'm correct. I am on this because it's been studied. It's not. By the way, it's not a me opinion. It's a proven element. We lose. Have you ever had any of you had a parent? You don't have to admit this in the comments. You might have had a mum or a dad that shouted a lot, and it got to a point where, like, well, they always shout. So, whether I'm late home by a minute or whether I've just burnt the house down, they shout at me. It loses its effect. And I think that's really important. But that all being said, I saw a lot of tweets today from Arsenal fans. All right, enough of the wallowing. We go again. Let's go. I'm behind the team. I've seen the players talk about they have to win the North London derby. It's non-negotiable type language. And I'm excited for it. And I think City winning tonight, as much as I didn't want them to do it, from a title race perspective, so exciting. Because every single one of you watching, everyone who's going to watch this back, thousands of you that will do that, everyone's tuning in tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see the response. Now, you all know who I want to win, right? You all know who I want to win tomorrow. Of course, I want Arsenal to win. I don't need to explain why. It's obvious. Absolutely obvious on every level. My dad had a go at me for that. My dad's Tottenham. But I did say, Dad, you go... He laughed at my brothers when Leyton Orient lost the player final last year. He laughed at me because they beat us in a cup final. So I'm like, Dad, before you die, I want to see you get relegated again, old man. By the way, if you know me and my family, that's our humor. My family on my grandmother's funeral, God rest her soul, miss you a lot. We spent half the day laughing and people couldn't understand it. And it's because my nan had the most sickeningly bad sense of humor, and we're just like that. So that's the way we talk to each other. That's the way we are. No one gets offended. Like, we're quite horrible to each other at times. And some, like, new people join our family partners go, and they're like, oh, I can't believe it. Like, I won't even say what I said because the jokes are quite extreme. I wish I could say you, but I'm genuinely, I don't want to get cancelled. And, well, I don't even think it's that bad. Anyway, right? We're horrible to each other, but in a very loving way. And that's how we are. So I'm like, yeah, Dad, I don't know how many years you got left, but it'd be great to see you experience relegation. That being said, Orient are on their way down in League One as well. So my brothers aren't really joining in with me. But look, it's going to be massive tomorrow. Can Arsenal respond? Will they respond? My personal feeling is they will win tomorrow. I do think they will win because I think this title race is going down to the final day of the season. Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions. Can't wait to read as many of them back as possible. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's do this. All right, time to bring on... Are we doing callers or are we doing a panel straight away? I don't even know what we're doing tonight. That will start a rumor. Oh, Terry don't run his own channel. I do. I just delegate. I do a lot of things. Shit. Kel and Hamza are calling in. Then we've got a panel afterwards. The panel will be back. So everyone's there. Oh, Kel, I just see Kel turn up. All right, Kel. I see you, Kel. Hello, Hamza. Hamza, you ain't coming on. Hamza ain't coming on. Do you know why? The last 3 times they dropped points, he didn't show up. You ain't coming now. No admission. No likey. I've got to bring that show back, haven't they? Blind Date. Not Blind Date. No, Blind Date was amazing. can't get Cilla Black to host it, though. She's gone now. All the good ones are gone, aren't they? Who are the good old-fashioned presenters that are still about? Can't think of any. They're either dead or in prison. That's the sad part about it. All the good ones are dead. All the good ones that are now bad ones are in jail. But there we go. Yes, Terry, stand on business. No, I'm only messing. With Hamza. I'll let him on. I like seeing his big head. Do you know what I mean? Right. We're going to get on first. Kel is going to come on first with us. Let me get my earphones in my ears so I can hear what's being said. There we go. They're in. Also, when Hamza comes on, I'm going to put these on because the shine off his head tonight is massive. So I'm going to put these bad boys on to protect my eyes when he comes on. I've seen his light. Right. Where's Kel? I'm already on callings. Here we go. Kel is here with us now. Hang on. What's happened here? This shouldn't be on this setting. Sorry, I don't know what's happened. 1 second. It's meant to be... Oh, shit. What one's it meant to be on? This one? No, it's not that one.
Oh, my... I do the same thing.
Yeah, it was working earlier today. It's meant to be... There we go. Welcome back, Kel. Big win for you guys tonight. A very, very big win indeed. Break it down for us.
We got the win. I don't really care that it was a little shaky second half. I'm at the point now where Arsenal have dropped points. We need to respond by getting full points, and we did. I'm just going to take it for what it was and run away with a win. I don't care. I think we missed a lot of chances, but some pretty solid performances, I would say, from I thought Gahey looked very good. I thought that sub at halftime, Diaz for Husanov, was a very good sub because they were killing us on the counter. And so to bring him on with that pace, and also Diaz had a yellow card. So kind of have to be careful with that. But yeah, definitely a nervy second half, but Donnarumma, huge save. And we won the game. I'm not going to complain about it. Nico O'Reilly. I really like Nico O'Reilly. That kid's been fantastic. I mean, serious contender for young player of the season. Just if there's any Arsenal haters in the crowd, the shortest debate of all time was Nico O'Reilly versus Miles Lewis-Skelly. Boom.
But you know what? O'Reilly.
Oh, they're crying about the ref. Dan Burns should have gotten a second yellow for pulling Erling Haaland's shirt if you're going to talk about the refs. So if Bernardo Silva should have been sent off, then so should have Dan Burn if you want to play that game. But I don't
Go on, Kel. Now, in fairness to Kel, so viewers know, Kel doesn't moan about refs no matter what's going on. So you're barking up the wrong tree there. Is that a cat on your lap, by the way?
Oh yeah, this is Katniss. She's a
Katniss.
Yeah,
great name.
She's a
great name.
She loves to join me while I'm streaming. Usually you'll just see like little ears pop up, but yeah, she's right here.
My dog hates coming in here. My dog only comes in this room if I've got food, because what ends up happening is I end up having to lock him in here, and he likes roaming around the house and the garden, and he can't when he's locked in here. So unless I've got food, he doesn't come in this room. He hates it. Absolutely hates it because he gets stuck. Yeah, O'Reilly was very good tonight. You mentioned Donnarumma there. How are you feeling confidence-wise now? Because it's only 4 games ago you dropped points to Spurs, and there was a big feeling around Manchester City that could be the end of it. But you're 2 points off. Arsenal haven't won in their last 2 games. Are you starting to feel really confident you could overtake them and win the league?
I do think there are positive signs. Getting a game like this over the line is a positive sign. I think Pep has made a tactical adjustment that I do really like. He's brought Nico O'Reilly into that midfield. One thing I have been crying about since last season is our midfield is too small and too soft. So to have 2 big bodies in there, Rodri and Nico O'Reilly, I think has been benefiting us tremendously. Today was a little shaky, but that's going to happen. Not every game's going to be perfect, but it looked very good against Liverpool, and it looked very good against Fulham. So I can just kind of try to build on that. And also, I'm feeling positive because we're getting our players back. We've had a lot of injuries, like Diaz came back. Doku should be back soon. Savino's been out for a while. So we have a full squad of players, Like in January, it was looking pretty dire when we had our center back was Husanov and Max Alain just called up from the championship. Like we have options now. Like we made some good signings in January. And it's starting to come together. So I do feel positive going forward. And I'm just happy we won the game today too.
I agree. You are getting your players back, and I think that's the scary element you know, in terms of this title race. You're getting them back. The two new signings in Gahey and Semenyo have, and sometimes with your signings, it takes a year or so to kind of fit in. They both just look like City players instantly. But you also bought them from Premier League teams, which I think helps, and they're scoring and defending very, very well. So yeah, it's looking a little scary at the minute. The big blue shark is waking up. He's waking up, Kel.
Yeah, I guess he is. But again, I'm at one game at a time mode. That's just we're at that point in the season where the title race is on. Arsenal didn't look like they were going to drop points, and then they've dropped a couple points lately, and we've managed to I think that win at Anfield just really changed everything. Because that showed me something I haven't seen in probably 18 months is like when you fall behind, you actually come back and win a game. And to do that at a place that we've historically struggled, I think that sent some shockwaves through the league, being like, oh, we can still do that because we hadn't demonstrated that in quite some time. And it is giving me more confidence going forward.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that game, it gave me vibes. It reminded me of the Kiko Makeda moment where we'd been going for a real rough patch, dropping points. Liverpool, I think, may have been ahead of us or were catching us. And then we looked like we were going to lose that game. And then he scores out of nowhere and we pick up we look like we're going to draw and we pick it up. And sometimes you can have these moments in a season that just change everything. And it's certainly been a point in time where you go, wow, because I think it was Bernardo Silva that said that you guys felt if you'd have lost that game, the title race would have been over. So yeah, it's been an amazing one to see. Kel, listen, always a pleasure to speak after your games. Thank you for coming on, and we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Take care. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye. Hamza is joining me next. Are you ready, Hamza? What are you standing up for? Hello, mate.
Yeah, Terry, let me just drink. I don't have any cups. Like Arsenal, so I'm drinking from my hand. I'm back, Terry. I'm back. Yes.
I bet you wish your hair was back though, don't you?
Yes, I don't need it. I want to be that Pep. I want to look like Pep. I don't mind. Yeah. Terry, today the pressure is getting worse. Have you heard of that meme? The pressure is getting worse. You know when they say that? Because the pressure is huge. Arsenal fans, you were watching today. Yeah, you needed us to drop points today, and we managed to get our 3 points. 3 points in my pocket. Terry, that is how you handle pressure. Today, you've seen it. 3 points. Fantastic job. Fantastic performance. Yeah? Fantastic. Like, it's a team effort. I'll give you an example. I was proud of my team. When we won the ball, you could see Haaland when he won that header. Kusanov went to him and hugged him, and Gahey hugged him, and I'm thinking, I don't see that Arsenal. All I'm seeing, Declan Rice arguing with Eze, Magalesh blaming Raya. I see my team different, united, family. Like people want to fight for this title, Terry. They said we were down and out. Terry, they said we were down and out. Hamza, you're not the same. Arsenal going to go with the quadruple. I'm waiting for this quadruple first. They're walking with the quads.
Hang on. You said it was down and out. You said it was too cold to win games. And your captain said if you didn't win against Liverpool, you couldn't win the league. So let's not pretend that City fans like you weren't saying it as well.
Never I thought Arsenal will win the league.
But forget Arsenal. You said we're over, we're rubbish. There's no milk being delivered to my supermarket because it's cold and my players can't play in the cold. That's what you said.
No, I fair enough. That was shameless, but Inter Milan, most team got shamed up as well with Bodo Glimt, so people can't laugh at me. I won't everyone about Bodo Glimt.
What about you?
Yeah, no, Sunderland.
You're obviously doing very, very well at the minute. I wanted to ask you about Nico O'Reilly because he's been a revelation in the midfield, hasn't he?
Wow. I'll be honest with you, yeah. You have to give that boy credit. Do you know why, Terry? It's like I remember like this boy got given that opportunity when we were going through that hard patch. And I'll give you a lot of people credit. You know, you used to say, why didn't you use your academy players? Remember, you used to say that. And I said, yeah, I remember. No, you said it. I give you credit. Look, I remember you said it. And a lot of some fans said, you have to utilize your youngsters. You have to try and give them opportunity. When he took that opportunity, we haven't looked back, because that boy grabbed that left back position and he's done so well. There's no mistake I can remember that he's made. Like every game is nearly 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. He's a young guy. He should not play so mature like this. We've taken him from a left back, put him as a midfielder.
Where did he play in your academy? Was he a left back?
He played as a midfielder. He played as a midfielder.
Oh, so he is a midfielder then. Okay.
But remember, Terry, he played, like, I'll give you an example. Ashley Cole used to be a winger or striker, I believed, back at Arsenal. So, and he got moved as a left back. Yeah. And when I think players like that.
Yeah. But when was he? Again, there's context to this. If he was a striker up until he was 18, 19, joined the...
I think he was midfielder till he was 17, 18.
Okay, yeah. He looks fantastic. And I think you're right with Pep. And Pep deserves credit in the end. He did it.
Yeah.
You have to find... Because your midfield was getting run through quite easily. Moving O'Reilly into the midfield. Yes, still teams are counter-attacking against you because there's a lot of great counter-attackers in the Prem. But you just look a little stronger, a little more stable. And O'Reilly's a threat. So you haven't just got a body in there. He's a real threat to the other team as well. What about Gahey today as well? Because obviously he's a new signing.
I said it. This is the guy I wanted. This is the guy I was telling City fans, we have to get him. I was saying for 1.5 years, I said, Gahey is the guy. Because we know we're going through a homegrown issue where John Stone's not fully fit, Aki's not fully fit. So the centre-back issue was a problem. Gahey shows the maturity. He's coming. And you think that he's been playing for Man City for years. Us City fans, you think that he's been playing for years. He's played very well. He's very composed. He knows when to make challenges. He doesn't dive in recklessly. He's able to lead the team properly. He plays well with Kusanov. He's good on the air. He's good on the floor. He's able to distribute the ball. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's able to pass from the back. He drive the ball forward. I think, you know what? If no one saw City, they would have said, is that your captain? Because this guy's just coming for like 4 weeks. He's my best signing in the last 2 years. And he's been our best signing by 2 years. If Gahey didn't come to our football club, I don't think we'll be chasing for the league. He's a difference maker. He's the guy that's made a difference. From the last 2 years, you can say Cherky, whatever. No. Gahey has been the most instrumental signing for me. Because I think defense is what wins you league titles. Is that composure, the leadership. And I'm seeing that from Gahey. And you know what? Give Gahey the credit. And I said it to City fans. When Vardy on Diaz comes back, none of them are guaranteed to start. Gahey is guaranteed to start. Gahey will be guaranteed to be a starter. Because to me, when I look at a defender like that, we're very lucky to get him. People criticize us paying him 200,000-300,000 a week, 25. Look at that. That's like
only people that don't, only idiots that think net spend is real would care about the wages. The wages are only higher because he didn't cost you his true value because his contract was running down. His overall cost, if you'd have bought him for 50, 60 million, wow, you would have only paid him 120 grand, 130 grand a week. So that's all relative. That's just why net spend should never be taken seriously, because it's all about the overall cost. And the cheaper you buy someone for, when they're at the peak of their power, the more you pay them in salary, but it balances out. So I totally agree. People that moan about his salary are just stupid. They don't understand football, football finances at all. Net spend is not real. I will challenge one thing on what you've said. I don't think he's your best signing in the last 2 years. I would still give that to Donnarumma. I feel that without Donnarumma, you probably wouldn't be in the title race still. There's been so many games where he's just, and even today, right at the end of the game, right at the end, Harvey Barnes had a pop shot from nowhere. Who gets a fingertip to it? Donnarumma. And I've had this debate with many people this year. Those gilt-edged moments in tight games in the run-in, I don't care that, because I think statistically this season, when you look at like goal preventing saves, Emi Martinez is above him. Fuck off. Donnarumma's doing it in a title race. When you're doing it in a title race, it means more. It's why I don't believe the older I get, the more I realize we're gaslit about Matt Le Tissier. Matt Le Tissier, skills, ability, excellent player. I never see him do it in a title race. I never see him in cup finals. I never see him do it in a Champions League run. I didn't see him do it for England. There's a pressure in those moments that separate the players with great ability that do it with some pressure versus the guys with great ability that are doing it under the most immense pressure with the world's eyes on you. And Donnarumma again today, just that little save at the end, special.
But you know, a lot of City fans are critical with him, Terry, on the basis that they're saying that, listen, he's one of our weaknesses. He can't pass from the back, and we're losing possession. And every time we get the ball, we're trying to hoof it. He's losing the ball.
Yeah.
Like Edison and all that. Yeah. But to me, a keeper, the most important thing, number one, is to make that save, world class. I know Edison. My cousin loves Edison. He's here. He's probably listening. He's gonna probably say something from the background. But Edison, I think, is a great keeper. But Edison, to me, if I'd done a room against Lyon, if I'd done a room against Chelsea with Kai Havertz, it's a different ballgame. I'm walking away with Champions League. With Monaco, Tottenham.
No, listen, by the way, I think there's been some saves from Donnarumma this season. And I think back to when we against Man United, the volley from Mbumo, that save. I don't think Edison saves that. And as much as, yes, Edison was better than him with the ball at his feet, Donnarumma does an okay job. Like, he does a good enough job with the ball at his feet for you guys to still play your football, but it's the saves that he makes. And yes, a few players might have a better save. The only element of his game that I do think is a bit iffy is sometimes when the balls are crossed in. Sometimes he can look a bit iffy. And I'm not sure if it's because he's actually iffy or if it's because he looks like an orangutan with his arms in the air. He looks a bit gangly and awkward. Does that make sense? Maybe it's only because
he's not committed. And I don't know whether, you know, that part about going to catch the ball, the catching, knowing when to punch, knowing when to catch, knowing when to come for the ball. That part, I think. And I don't know whether it's because of we've not had that stability in defense. And you know,
exactly. Final question for you before I bring the panel on tonight. Do you think you're going to win the league?
We're going to win the league, and no one's going to believe us, and no one's going to believe us, and no one's going to believe us. We're going to win the league. Yep.
So you think it's going to get worse for Arsenal now?
Yeah, I think the world is watching tomorrow. I think after Thursday, and their players have watched tonight, if I'm there, part of the squad, I'm shitting my pants. I'm not sleeping tonight. I'm telling you now. Psychologically, Terry, the pressure after all those years.
You used to be an Arsenal fan, so you know exactly what they're going to go through.
No. I'm just saying, as a guy who plays football, I've known. I've won trophies. I've got medals here.
I've seen you play football, Hamza.
Yeah. No, I played football. I played.
You play football. You look like you're ice skating when you play football.
No. Come on, man. That's when I'm getting with. I've got skills to go. I've got the skills. Come on.
Listen, Hamza, always a pleasure, brother, to sit and speak with you. We'll chat soon, my friend. Take care, bro. Take care, mate. Take care. He's obviously I don't know what happened. What's happened to my screens tonight? They've all gone a bit weird. Big up Hamza, funny guy, Worser. Listen, I don't have the greatest English or grammar either, but I love that. I didn't even want to correct him. Just wanted to leave that there. A few super chats here. This is not a super chat, but it says Letitia did it in relegation battles. Yeah, he did it under some pressure. I didn't say no pressure, some pressure. But he also did it at a club where, look, Letitia, I know he's got a lot of issues now. My dad actually knows Letitia quite well. My dad used to do after dinner speaking with him before he got weird. Letitia could have walked out at half-time at the Dell, took a shit on the centre circle spot, rubbed the chairman's wife's face in it, and the fans would have said, he's got to stay. So there's when you leave, because that's where he started, right? If he leaves and he joins Arsenal, if he leaves and he joins United, if he leaves and he's pumped Newcastle, they were in title races back then. If he leaves and joins Chelsea, the pressure's different. You don't deliver, the fan base is going to turn on you quick. It's a different pressure, my friend. The man could get relegated 2 years in a row with Southampton. They'd have loved him still. So there is pressure, and I don't mean it in a horrible way. Of course, there was some pressure. Different level. Speak to players that have played in relegation battles and played in title races and see which, and tight one. Not I was in a relegation battle once, and then when I played in the team that won the league, we were 15 points clear. Actual title races. See what they say. Hussam is pathetic. Big up Man City. City pool exists. No. Listen, I back every Liverpool fan that doesn't want to see City win the league. I could never imagine, unless they were up against Everton or Man United, there's no reason for a Liverpool fan to back City. So I'm glad Hussam isn't part of the Brokeback Mountain crew, man. I'm so glad he ain't part of, you know what I mean, Cuck FC. Fuck cats. They are sneaky and don't care about you. Dogs all the way. Now, cats are good as well. I like animals, man. I prefer animals to people. Like, once my kids are grown up and gone, I'm just going to have a house full of animals and fuck the people off. I like animals. They're great. My dog is lovely, though. He protected me today because a deer made a move towards me when we were out in the woods. Rocky weren't having it. He used to really like deers. He's grown not to. I have to keep him on his lead. I used to better let him off in the woods. I can't anymore because I can tell he wants to get the deers, and I won't let him hurt another animal because I'm not cruel. But the deer, I didn't mean to corner it. I walked around the corner in the forest and it couldn't turn and run. And it made like a weird noise at me. And Rocky got very angry. I was very proud of him, but I didn't let him go because it's not fair. Plus, he might get, I don't know if he should be able to beat a deer, but I don't want to test it. Do you know what I mean? That'd be weird, wouldn't it? That'd be weird. Anyway, Haaland has more assists than Arsenal players. I mean, look, you can make it about Arsenal if you want, but Erling Haaland's one of the greatest strikers ever to play football. So I'm not surprised. City, what I wouldn't do is, again, I almost look at that like a little belittling. Oh, even Haaland's got more assists than them. No, Haaland, do you know how good he is? City spent close to 180 million in January. If Arsenal would have spent the same, they would have been far ahead. This is what buying a league looks like. Well, look, if you've got the money, spend it. And that's what you got to do. City are starting to look like a title-winning side. January has helped massively, and you can see the players mentally are believing and pushing. Absolutely. They do believe. You can really tell they believe. Preparing for another Aguero moment, 50-50 in May. Oh, can you imagine? I mean, can you just imagine if you get like a Haaland or Saka right at the last kick of a game, at the last day of the season? It would be, look, obviously I hated the Aguero moment. It hurt. Really, really hurt. And people wonder why I don't want City to win the league. Like, they gave me the Aguero moment. Why would I not want them to? Why would I want them to win the league? That's a matter of Man. I know United fans do the whole. I think it is a bit of a gimmick. Oh, I just don't care about City. I'm like, no, you just care that you got a friend who's an Arsenal fan. You want him to lose. And anyway, no, I don't want City winning it. But yeah, it would be great for a league to get another moment like that. Right, panel time now, people. We've got Luke, we've got Phil, we've got Kane on with us now. Welcome back, gents. Congratulations, Luke. Commiserations, Phil and Kane, on tonight's game. I'm going to go to Kane. We haven't heard anything yet from Newcastle fans tonight. Kane, what did you make of it tonight? Because I wouldn't call it must win for yourselves. Obviously, it would have been a game you would love to have won. But what did you make of Newcastle's performance?
Hot and cold. I think that first half, I could see what Eddie was doing. We kind of threw caution to the wind, which is why City were able to play through us quite easily. But I think we did that in order to create opportunities for ourselves. I thought we were brave. I thought we were the better team in the second half, and I think we deserved at least a point out of this game. So I'm disappointed to come away with nothing. But, credit to O'Reilly on that first goal. That was a great goal. I can't really take anything away from him on that one. And the second one, yeah, really great cross from Haaland and Nico O'Reilly again with a very smart header. So I don't really want to take anything from City, but I feel like we deserved a point. And yeah, I still have grumblings with the ref on this one. I don't know what it is with Newcastle recently, but us and officials do not seem to get along. But
what specifically, what is it you're referring to?
I still think, for me, I think Jacob Ramsey had a shout for a penalty. I think it was Aït-Nouri came in from behind. He may have got the ball. I didn't really see a good angle, but for me, it looked like he came in from behind and took Jacob Ramsey's foot before the ball. So I think that was a penalty. I think the obvious one would be Dan Burn for that equaliser that got chalked off for offside. I think you said it yourself in the group chat. The reason he's offside is because he's been shoved in the back by Diaz, who's already on a yellow card. So for me, the referee needs to look at that and go, either he's offside because he's been shoved. So do you do you give the foul, in which case it's a penalty, probably a second yellow to Diaz and he's off, or do you just allow it and it's an equaliser? And then Bernardo Silva, I don't think he should have been on the field. Already on a yellow, and he essentially cannonballs himself into Dan Burns' chest. He again doesn't even look at the ball. Looks straight at Dan Burn, and then almost like a move from Dragon Ball Z, just sort of like running, like jumps into him. I hear the calls, from Kel saying Dan Burn probably should have gotten sent off. I don't think his first yellow, I don't think his yellow was a yellow. I think it was a foul, but I think both him and Haaland were giving each other sort of pushes and tugs and all that sort of stuff. So to give a yellow, I thought was harsh. But yeah, I would agree. Given that he was already on a yellow, he probably should have seen red as well. So for me, I think the officials kind of cost us. But listen, the lads, given that we were in Azerbaijan 3 days ago, playing team in second, hunting down in a title challenge, who had a full week's rest, I thought we were great today, and we're just unfortunate not to come away with anything.
Phil, on the equalising goal, the push. But what was your view on it? And the reason I bring that up is because what was interesting to me is that we saw Chelsea get 2 penalties for like pushes in the back. And as much as they're fouls, you see loads of pushing like that and nothing's ever really done. We then saw a Brighton player push a Villa player the week later in the chest, but in the same way, not given in real time. VAR didn't intervene. And on this, there was a clear push in the back to push him offside. It was sort of praised by the commentators as almost like, oh, that's a great technique. But I'm sitting there and thinking, well, why are you allowed to put? Why was that pushed? Are you thinking the same as what Kane is? Well, hang on a minute. Like, why is that push allowed, but the push in the back of Pedro is a penalty?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little bit like Kane, where I feel like there's been some incredible decisions against Newcastle the last couple of weeks where you almost dull to the pain of it. But I did think with the other pushes, like as you said, it's common people pushing each other in the penalty box. But why this one's a little bit different is the reason why Dan Burns offside is because he got pushed offside. Like he was onside by the looks of it before the ball came in. Had he not been pushed from the back, he would have just headed the ball and got the goal. So that's what makes it so kind of it makes it a bit different compared to kind of the usual pushing the other way. Like if you said, imagine if it happened the other way where Dan Burn pushed, I think it was Diaz, away from the ball and then got his head on it. Well, then you would have been a disallowed goal, wouldn't it? But for some reason, the other way around, it didn't work that way. So yeah, it's just one of those decisions, unfortunately. It's actually in the law, actually. They do have, someone sent it helpfully on the WhatsApp, law 11, law 12, that if someone does get pushed during a set piece or a free kick or whatever before the ball comes in, and the reason why they're offside, for instance, is because they get pushed, then you do get a penalty for it. I don't know why the referees didn't follow their own laws.
That's crazy. If that's actually a law, and it's already, I thought it was one of those things that isn't written and that they might now write. If it's already a law, that's crazy. I mean, Luke, if that's the law, that if you get pushed into an offside position and you're inside the box, that's a penalty. That's that. Listen, you're happy you won the game. You deserve to win the game, but that'd be a crazy one to get away with.
Can I just read it to you? It says,
read the
law.
Yeah.
Under Law 11 offside and Law 12 fouls and misconduct of the International Football Association Board, a player cannot be penalised for offside if they were pushed there by an opponent.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wow. So it's either based on that law, it's either a goal or a penalty.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
So there we go.
I mean, this is why it shows in itself, right? I mean, we all agree officiating in this country at times is a disgrace. Like, it doesn't matter which team it's against, and the rules are always different every year. If the rules were consistent for every game played, and it was judged on that, and it didn't change at all, obviously, like, well, 1 week's been given for penalty, 1 week it's something different, then it'd be all right. But so I understand where Kane are coming from. I understand because I get why you're both annoyed at that decision, because I've been annoyed that was us. It's happened to us before in the season as well. Yeah. City made 4 decisions this season as well in certain games. But at the end of the day, for us anyway, I'm happy we won the game. Like, I think for us it's 3 points. I mean, I know
The second half wasn't great. I think Haaland should have scored, probably, and Svenja should have scored himself. So it probably should be 3 or 4 in another day. But that's football. Newcastle are a good team. Anyone saying, I know where they are in the leagues are not really sort of showing that. But when you factor in, like, I know Karabakh are not that good of a team, really. But when you actually watch them, when you're on the attack, you are a very good team on the attack. But when everyone's on it, like Gordon's a fast player. Voltemada, I don't understand him playing him in false 9. Like, he's a striker. I know what Eddie's trying to do, but I don't understand. Like, you've got a 6 foot tall striker. You got wingers and players that can supply him. Why don't you just work on doing that? I don't understand why you're playing him in a position that doesn't really work for him. I get everyone's different, but I just think Eddie should use him a lot better than what he's doing.
No, he's not using them in the false 9. He's using them in currently last 3 or 4 games. He's using them in the midfield. Right. In terms of just like using him as like a number 9, his box movement is not good. No, that's the way I can put it. His box movement. You will see most of our stats. We got like 20 plus crosses like per game.
Right.
And not all those crosses are going over the stadiums. They're literally going into the penalty box, but his movement is just not good. I think Haaland would love those. Would love a team that's got 20 crosses into the box. So, but that's just we don't get it. But that's just, I think that's the way that's the reason why. There's a reason why Gordon or Sulla, even Osula, are playing ahead of him in at number 9 at the moment. So yeah, I think that part of his game is just got to. I don't know if he'll be able to work it out. I don't know if he's better in a different league, but I think he's playing in the midfield 3 for us at the moment.
Yeah, and that's not really ideal when the money you paid for him as well at the time, as well. A lot of money for a striker as well. When he's how many goals he got? Is like 8 goals a season, something like that.
Yeah. It's got 8-9 goals now,
which isn't great for a striker in the team that you're in. Really, like I'm not saying you got a insane like creative midfield, because I don't really have to have that kind of midfield anyway. You got more of a robust, a physical midfield, I'd say, on a creative one. So I get that, but I mean the wingers aren't that. We've obviously got Barnes, Gordon, Alanga's a hit and miss, but I get the quality he has, but it's not really showing as much as it probably should do. So you have players that can at least cross the ball in, but again, because he's in a team where he hasn't got that much creativity, he has to do a lot of the work himself, and obviously he hasn't done that yet. He's been a lot of it's been more crossing into the box, so I get it. But I think for you guys anyway, I mean, I thought you did pretty well, considering I think everyone probably thought that they probably batter you, considering obviously your record at Etihad's poor compared to obviously at St James with our games, but I thought you did really well. I always said it'd be a difficult game, but for us, I said before, just 3 points. Again, Arsenal drew against Wolves and Brentford. You got to win the games, put pressure on them, and we did our job. So that's all I can ask for, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, from your point of view, as you say, you've had your refereeing decisions. I suppose why rivals get a little bit frustrated is that from the second that Rodri has complained about the decisions, they seem to have gone in your favour. That being said, is there an outcome of the because he was charged, wasn't he? And they said they had to respond by the 18th. Is there an outcome of that yet?
Has it been? Well, I haven't seen anything. Well, usually I either get it on it, a City Extra, or I get some message to me on WhatsApp. We've had nothing yet, so I imagine Monday will probably get something. I imagine, depending on it's late or not. But look, if he's got, for me personally, right, I think if he does admit to it, or whatever, and it'll probably be a fine. I'm not saying he shouldn't be suspended or whatever. It's hard to do that. Is what it is. I mean, we've got Nico G anyway, so it's not like it's a massive different replacement anyway. But at the end of the day, right, he's saying his opinion. I mean, should he say it? That's obviously up for debate, but I get there are rules in football. Sadly, obviously players who are a bit more emotive, but with the referees and that, you can't really do that. So
James says Dan Burn is offside before the push.
Was he offside? Because I watched it back.
I'm watching it. He is standing offside before the ball's hit, but you know what? He doesn't get the chance to do. He doesn't get the chance to do what they all do, which is jump back onside, then run on. Yeah. So that's what they do. They start offside, and as the player, the free kick taker runs up to take it, they jump back onside. But what Ruben Diaz has stopped him from doing is he stopped him from getting back onside by pushing him. So essentially, I read the rule. So again, if the push happens as the ball is being kicked, it's a penalty. If it happens before the ball is kicked and people can watch the clip back and decide for themselves, then the very least it should be a retaken free kick. It should restart with a direct free kick or penalty if the kick occurs inside the defender's area. So yeah, it should be a penalty or a goal or a free kick is outside the area. That's according to the law. So at the end of the day, yes, he's standing in an offside position, but you're not offside until you try and win the ball. So there is no offense there. Then he doesn't get the chance to go back on side. So I mean, it's crazy. This is what I mean was mad about refs. And this isn't City is not City's fault. City have done nothing wrong here. But how do the refs not know the law of the game they're managing?
Well, I mean,
it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's,
like,
you have to see those videos. You have to see those videos of those police officers that end up looking silly, where they go, "I know the law. I'm a police officer," and then someone reads one of the laws to them, and they just look like they're confused. Like you shouldn't be a police officer unless you know the law. Do you get what I mean? Like you've got to know these things. You can't be a ref. I mean, that's only law 11. I mean, I don't know how many laws there are, but that's quite near the fucking top, isn't it? That's quite high up there. And the thing is, I didn't think too much of it because I didn't know there was a law. I was saying in one of our group chats earlier that maybe because I've seen it happen a few times recently, and I thought maybe this is going to be something they've got to address and write a bylaw for. Because for me, the best bylaw is if you push someone offside and they score, it's a goal. Just leave it as a goal. Because I think in a lot of other sports like ice hockey, rugby, if you deliberately make someone in an offside position, it's just all is fair, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's a crazy one. This here says for that called back goal, it's almost like a producer is talking to VAR saying only look at the offsides, ignore the push.
No, I don't think no. I get it. You're frustrated that we didn't drop points, but if that's true, then I don't care who it is. That's just a disgrace anyway. Like, of course, they've got to look at. I mean, you're right, Terry. At the end of the day, right, you know the rules. If it is a foul because he's pushed him, then give a penalty. Look, I'd be annoyed at more Diaz doing that than actually that decision. Because at the end of the day, it's football. Like things will go against you, things will also go for you. But if it's honestly, right, people think that it's drama. Like if ever proven, sure, but it's not. I think that's just one you read, mate. Personally, that's one you read.
Yeah, someone here says we see the defender getting pushed and nudging attackers into offside positions regularly. It happens before the ball is in play, so there can be no foul or penalty awarded. If the on-field officials had spotted it, it could be considered a foul. The free kick could be retaken. But how are they not spotting it? Yeah, it's. I mean, that's from a journalist who's saying that, but. Yeah, look, as I say, maybe they've got to reword the law or redo it. Equally, one thing that referees do a lot at the moment, and I don't want to spend too much more time on referees. I want to speak a little bit about some of the players, but they did it tonight in favor. It might have been the Chelsea game they did this in, but a free kick or a corner is about to be taken, and I don't know what game it was today. And an attacker is pushed over a defender just as the ball's about to be taken, but he blows a whistle before the corner. And they just don't do it. And I sit there and go, hang on, just let him make the foul and then give the free kick. Like, why warn the player? And it's worse when it's the other way around. You see defenders pulling on players and they stop the free corner. They go, if you pull like that, a penalty will be given. Why are you warning them? Let them pull, give the fucking penalty. I always find that a bit strange. That's always, again, I don't believe in the conspiracy theories, but if you do, surely that's going to feed into it. If you're sitting there, imagine it's Tottenham Arsenal tomorrow. And every time a Spurs defender's pulling on an Arsenal player before a corner, referee stops it and says, listen, stop pulling, Mickey. I'll have to give a penalty, mate. Like, I'd look at that and go, what do you mean? Why are you warning them? Why are you... Do you know what I mean? I'd be saying, give the fucking penalty. So, yeah, no, I hear you on that. I wanted to ask about a player on the pitch tonight that I thought was great. And I'm going to rivals first on this. Kane, what did you make of O'Reilly tonight in terms of his emergence as a midfielder in recent weeks, but his performance tonight against you?
I thought in the first half it was great. Again, I mean, you've got to be playing great if you come up with goals like that. I think his ability, like physically, was hard to deal with. He was making those forward runs and helping the attack, especially on the break, which Newcastle really struggled to deal with. Great, like I said, great first goal, and then the second goal, it's that sort of classic midfielder riding from deep. Great run, and I think he benefited from. I can't remember who made. There was one of the other man. I think it was Marmouche, who makes a nice run towards the penalty spot, and it draws Thiaw out of position, which leaves that hole for Nico O'Reilly, and he just sort of bullies Trippier in the air. And like I said at the beginning, it was a smart header, going back across Nick Pope. It was a great goal, but second half very quiet. I thought I don't think I remember seeing much of him in the second half, but yeah, in that first half he was phenomenal. So credit to him, especially at such a young age. Quite the talent.
Well, yeah, Luke, you must be very excited about the prospects of this young man.
Oh, he's brilliant. I think, considering the start of the season, obviously Aït-Nouri started off at the start of the year, was a bit hit and miss. Obviously, and he got injured, and he obviously came into the team after that. Since the derby, we won 3-0, and obviously against Bournemouth, we did very well against him. The way he's gone from then on and sort of been probably I think. Obviously, it's up for debate. I think he's probably the best left back in the league at the moment. Or well, obviously midfield today. Obviously, he was the best left back at one point, but he's moved over to midfield now. I actually think for England it'll probably be Lewis Hall and him a left back for England right now. And I think that's good options there for England, a left back there, because at least you've got someone who can either play midfield if you want a bit more of a presence midfield to sort of help out going forward. But defensively, he's good as well. He's come into a team that obviously it's still obviously a lot of change. Last season was obviously quite poor for our standards, but he came in there and made that left back position his own. He's sort of getting goals now. He's getting assists as well. He's for a 20-year-old, almost 21-year-old. The level of maturity he has as well for his age is brilliant. Like the way he sort of reads the game as well. Obviously, it's still a long way to go for his career, a lot more to do. But the fact that he's the fact that Pep trusts him so much now in games like Newcastle away, Newcastle at home, in the big games like Arsenal, that he obviously can see how good he is. And for me, I'm so excited to see how he does. Obviously, the rest of the season for us in the World Cup for England. I'm very sure Tuchel will probably use him anyway in the squad. It's the World Cup anyway, so. I'm really excited, Terry. I'm really excited for how he gets better. And I know, obviously, Foden's obviously been in and out of the team recently himself, but obviously, Nico Riley, for me, it shows that our academy gets chances. Obviously, not everyone will obviously make it. The ones that do are obviously very good players, as we play them.
I hear that. Kane, from your point, what's next for you guys? What's next for Newcastle? Because one win in your last 5 in the Prem, but you are smashing it, smashed it in the Champions League midweek. There's some Newcastle fans I see, like True Geordie does it a lot. The most famous and most popular Geordie in the world, Scotty T. These guys are always like on your manager's neck. There are others like Ash, and big up Ash. I hope you're well. He sort of, I know he said comments along the lines of give him a contract for life. So you've got this big dichotomy of, do you get where I'm coming from? And where are you at with it? Because you are 10th in the league. It doesn't look like you're going to qualify for the Champions League again. But you have got injury problems. So like what's next for you guys in the league? Do you see yourselves turning the form around, or are you just sort of you thinking you kind of where you're going to be for the rest of the season?
No, I think with regards to do I think we'll turn the corner? I think so. I think what I've seen throughout is a team fighting and playing for the manager. I think the last few results, I mean, let's take the last weekend of January and February aside, because that was an away game at PSG, which we drew, away game at Liverpool, which I know you say we got smashed, but I still think we had chances there, and could have been a very different scoreline. We then get beaten comfortably by Man City, which again I still think we played well in, and then from there I think we beat Spurs away. We beat Villa away in the cup. We then got Karabag, which who are in the Champions League, beat them comfortably 6-1, and then we come here to Man City again away, and I thought we played well. We've been unfortunate cases. There's been moments of madness. It's been up and down, for sure. Do I think we'll get it? I think we'll still climb the table. I think Champions League may be a bridge too far for us, potentially. But then again, I don't really hold confidence that Man United, Liverpool, or Chelsea will be anywhere near comfortable enough. I think they'll always be looking at their shoulder and are still gettable. Particularly because we still play years. I know we have you guys soon at home, and then we go away at Chelsea. So there are opportunities for us to catch up, but. When it comes to the manager, I said a while ago to KJ, for me, I think Eddie Howe has deserved the right to finish out the season and to turn it around himself. If we're still 10th, then I think we may have to look elsewhere. But I would, if I was the board now, I would be drafting up a potential shortlist of managers. The only managers I would consider would be managers that have proven good experience with teams in the Champions League. Because the problem I have with Eddie at the moment is the 2 seasons in which we've been in the Champions League, he's sort of failed to at least maintain, or there's been like a very noticeable drop off when we have been there. So yeah, I think for me, Eddie Howe's like a top Monday to like if you're a 1 game week kind of team, I think Eddie Howe's probably the best manager for you. But as soon as you start in like adding more games to that schedule and it gets busier, he doesn't get the time to train and really nurture the talent like he could when he does have those 1 game a week. That being said, when it comes to people like Scotty T and True Geordie, I think people who've admitted they like being humiliated, I find it quite ironic that they then play the standards police. I think they need to just be a bit more quiet. By all means, criticize Eddie and the team when it's needed. But I mean, if we talk about True Geordie in particular, we beat Karabag 6-1, and his video is, did you see the argument between Trippier and Gordon? This is the reason, and it's all because he's just playing Voltamada, and that's because Eddie Howe's an idiot. It's like really, it feels like he's nailed his colours to the mast of get rid of Eddie Howe, and therefore he's now on this sort of, like, kind of what Goldbridge was saying to you about Van Gaal. He was sort of Van Gaal out very early, and then he just never enjoyed watching Man United because he was just anti the manager. And I feel like that's where a lot of these content creators are now. They've played the standard cards.
Yeah, I've seen it with Liverpool, where as soon as they've gone slot out, like no matter what they do, they actually look a bit more depressed when they win than when they lose.
It's like us too, Terry. Same with us, some of our fans. Like if certain player plays well, stay quiet on it. Some player plays terribly, they're all over it. Guys, you're meant to support a team, not player FC, manager FC. It's not how it works. Like you're meant to support the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's where I am. I feel like Eddie Howe should get the chance to see out the season. And listen, if we are still 10th, then put it this way, his position isn't without, like, there is a question there, and he hasn't put himself out, like he hasn't made it out of the question that he gets replaced. And I think if a Thomas Tuchel, for instance, was available and was willing to come, then I would probably move him on if that was the case.
How about yourself, Phil? Are you in the same sort of boat as Kane, or are you more on the true Geordie level?
Neither, I don't think. I disagree a bit on Eddie Howe being a 1 week manager type. He's just won 3 away games, including Champions League, FA Cup, and Premier League. Mm-hmm. So he can very much do it. I do agree on the point that every manager, no matter what they do, should be reviewed, and I think Eddie Howe will be reviewed. But what I hope from the owners' point of view, and this is unlikely, but I hope they do it anyway, is review themselves, because that whole summer transfer window was handled by Eddie Howe. He had 2 days off, and then Paul Mitchell did the runner, and then Eddie Howe and his team had to go and look for players and stuff and try and secure strikers. We also lost, one of the best 2 or 3 top number 9s in the world at the time in Isak, and that counts for a lot in terms of the season itself. I think Newcastle, the way Eddie Howe sets up Newcastle, we're platformed to be an elite team, to play well, but we don't necessarily have all the quality in the right places, especially in that number 9 in that number 9 area. And I think everything else, if we take everything else in account, his ability to identify players, develop players, take us regularly to semi-finals and finals and winning trophies, I think it would be incredibly, we could do Sir Bobby Robson, where we end up taking out the wrong manager at the wrong time. I think what I'm saying doesn't mean that he gets, he gets to be manager for life, but I do think this is the one time going into this summer, the one time since the takeover where we have a manager, a sporting director still in post, and we have the PSR or SCR, wherever it's going to be called soon, all lined up in our favor. And I'm really curious to see how we handle things this summer. I think this will be the summer that we're really going to be looking at the owners. We're looking at the owners all the time, but looking at Eddie Howe. But I think he's an elite manager. And I think the players are playing for him. And I think this is going to be the first summer where they're going to have their ducks in a row. And hopefully we'll see the best of them in terms of Champions Leagues and being in various competitions at the same time.
Neeks here says, will Tonali be sold if Newcastle don't make the Champions League? If so, how much could do with him at United?
Yeah, so for me, regardless, any player, if it's Tonali, any player, is going back to essentially us being ready to sell and to recruit. Like, players are going to come and go, whether it's Tonali, Livramento, Bruno, whoever it is. I just want us to be prepared to sell and then or buy whatever a replacement within time, and us hopefully as a team, as a squad, not lose a step and to at least maintain our quality. In terms of the price of Tonali, it's going to be difficult to ascertain at the moment without looking at what 24, 25-year-old centre midfielders are out at the moment with his international ability, with his international credentials, Champions League, Scudetto winner, obviously League Cup winner at Newcastle. You're going to have to, how many of those are around? If it's rare, if a midfielder of his quality is rare to find, then you're probably looking into the range of 80 million total package. If it's not so rare, if you've got a little bit more, Elliot Anderson's, Beliebers, and all the others, then you're probably looking at the lowest end of scale, 60 million total package, I would think. But in terms of Newcastle, I just hope no matter who the player is, what we've got to do, if we sell them, but we can replace them and we can do it as quickly as possible, not to have the shenanigans that we had last summer.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right. Big up, Neeks. I hope you're well, mate. Final question to yourself, Luke. How confident are you now of winning the league? 2-point gap. You got a game in hand, but obviously they do play tomorrow against Tottenham. What's your heart saying right now? Your gut more than your heart, actually. What's your gut saying about the title race now?
Do you know what it is, Terry? I mean, I think I've seen a reaction to the game on social media from Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, City are terrible. Or win the league would be all right." Look, both teams are very hit and miss this season. Like, Arsenal should be better than us this season. They should be winning the league this year compared to where their squad is compared to where we are at the moment. But the fact is, we've both got issues in our team. We're both not perfect, and this is a hard league as well. This is not easy. It's not a league where you go and beat Burnley 7-0 anymore. Like, you might do every now and again, but do you remember? I used to remember in the past when we had Norwich at home, like 6-0 win and won 6-0 because you kind of could be were. The league is difficult now. Like today, Newcastle, the old Newcastle teams in the past would be about a 4 or 5-1 because that was just how good we were at the time. And the quality of squads back then, which is different. Now, Newcastle have a very good squad. Burnley even and get a draw at Chelsea today. Like, even when they're not that great a team, every game's difficult. So if you're sat there arrogant, thinking that you're better than anyone else, this league will humble you. It will humble you very quickly. So my thoughts on it so far, mate, I'm going to say that I think we'll win the league. Does that mean I think it's guaranteed and anything can happen? Of course, anything can happen. Like, as we all know with title races, a lot will happen between now and end of May. But my gut feeling after today and what I saw from the reactions of the players after the game, I think we'll win the league. That's what I feel anyway.
Can I ask you a question? Because I know that obviously about Arsenal is, if Arsenal don't win the league, in your opinion, from everything you've observed of them, if they don't win the league, do you think how long is it before they are going to win the league again? Do you think they've lost? I guess, is this a sliding doors moment for them? Do you think?
Look, I think it could be. I was talking about this on the United Stand the other day, and the Arsenal situation is starting to remind me a little bit of Poch at Tottenham and Klopp at Liverpool as they went into that Champions League final. Right. And we all do this in the social media world. You make a prediction, you have a thought, and sometimes it absolutely comes through to fruition. Maybe not for all the exact reasons because you don't have the inside information, but in the preview, Neeks, big up who's watching, Neeks, me, Ramon, and Adam Charles, we went to this private members club I used to have access to via my job in the private bank. And we filmed a preview for that final in this place. And one of the things I said in this in the preview is the team that wins, I think, is going to go on to win multiple trophies. I said I think the team that loses, the squad and crumbles and the manager leaves, and I don't think they'll be as good again. And I felt that's because they both kind of had multiple finals or botched title races that they'd lost. And there was this moment where you could kind of unify it by winning. Liverpool won it. They went on to win the league. They won domestic trophies, another league title, 2 more Champions League finals, where Poch and Tottenham just drifted. And Spurs I know they won the Europa League last year, but by and large, Spurs have been getting progressively worse. Now, it's never going to go exactly the same as that. But for me, when I look at this Arsenal team, there's actually a chance it goes both ways. There's a chance that they could win it and next season not be as good because there is this relief of we finally got to the top of the mountain. Maybe they're not as focused next year. Equally, they could. I think the league by itself might not do this, but they could miss out on the league. They don't win any trophies. There most certainly could be this feeling. And Igal got very upset with me and Connor after the show the other night off camera because he said, well, why would because we were talking about this. And he said, oh, why would the Arsenal players suddenly not believe in the project anymore? And I always call it the burning house effect. And I only learned this through, that's what I've called it, by the way. It's not named by a psychologist, but my friend's a firefighter. And he said that every parent in the world will always tell you I'd run into a burning house on my children. He says, but I've been at maybe 200, 300 domestic house fires where people and kids are trapped inside. Some of the parents do try and go. We have to almost pin them down. Sometimes we have to get the police to restrain parents because we can't let them go into the house because they will die. Some parents scream for somebody to run in and help, but when they feel the heat of the flame themselves, they can't bring themselves to try and run through it. And he said, look, there's no judgment on it. And every parent that hears that story goes, oh, I definitely would run through the fire. And his response to them is always, you don't know until you're there. That stuck with me my whole life. And I think there's multiple times where that logic in your mind happens. Some of these Arsenal players today might be fully committed to next season. But no trophies this year, maybe their mind changes. Does that make sense? So I feel that if they don't win a trophy, Arsenal, this year, the context of how they've missed out will play a part. But that's when they have to seriously look at, because what might keep those players there is to go, Arteta, thank you for the rebuild. Thank you for making us title contenders. Thanking us, making one of the more competitive and better teams in Europe. But we now need to look at bringing someone in that gets us over the line, re-galvanizes the squad after what would be disappointment. So I think it can kind of go in multiple directions, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think it's, you could just pick one and it might go that way. But I feel that Arteta, again, for what it's worth to Arsenal fans, I've always ring-fenced him into 2 separate categories. The rebuild element of their club, he did that brilliantly. And he deserves praise and credit. And I think he gets that from most Arsenal fans. This is the 3rd season of it. These last 3 seasons, including this one and the 2 prior, I feel we should be solely judged on what he's winning for Arsenal. And I feel you can separate those 2 scenarios and circumstances because the build's happened. They're in title races. They're in the Champions League. And for me, it's a case that we can't keep getting, well, he helped rebuild us, so he should have as much time as he needs to win because the squad only has a certain amount of time to win. These players will eventually go, well, I want to move on. Or the squad will time out because they've been together now, a large part of this squad for 3 or 4 years. What's the general length cycle of a team? 5, 6, 7 years tops. You want to win as much as possible. So no, I think it's going to be a real interesting tonight. And I also think on the other side, they win a few trophies this year. They have to have a conversation about it. They have to maybe talk to the manager. Are you? Because again, they might go, if we win, we're going to go on and win. The manager might sit there now with his team and maybe his leadership team and go, if we win the league this year, we could go on to win 3, 4, 5, and they're all planning for it. They might win the league, and a couple of players or the manager go, I actually do think I've done enough here now. I actually want to break or I want to move on because you don't know how you're going to feel until after that moment. Does that make sense? So like I think Arsenal summer is going to be really interesting, whether they win trophy or trophies or don't. I think there's it might be business as usual as well, by the way. That's also a very, very obvious option. But I think I'm sort of looking at it from an outsider and going, it can go in multiple directions. But I think for Arteta to truly deserve to stay, I think he's got to win trophies this year. And the league title race can't capitulate. So if City do catch you and win by a point, all season I've not played it down as bad champions, crap teams. I think they're very decent teams, and I think that the league's very hard. If he does that and wins the FA Cup and the League Cup, he'll probably get another chance to go again. If he won the FA Cup and the League Cup, but finishes 15 points off top because they capitulate, that's another story. I think that's another conversation. So for me,
Context.
the context I think is really, really key. But I think a trophy is massive. I think a trophy is massive for him now.
Great, yeah.
Look, I want to thank the viewers for tuning in tonight. I didn't realize we were live for an hour and 25 minutes. It's a long time. We had a great chat. We went through some good things. Kane, Phil, and Luke, thank you. I want to thank our viewers tonight. We're back tomorrow morning with Killing the Game. I've already been sent some amazing Chelsea content, which I can't wait to react to tomorrow morning. Quest, if you're watching, don't watch that show because that might upset you. Don't tune in, brother. It is all just fun. I don't have any agendas. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we're going to see you all again very, very soon. Peace.